My name is Rob Bowers, and my wife Sherry and I farm Whitted Bowers Farm in Cedar Grove, North Carolina, which is about 10 miles north of Hillsboro. The property is about a little over 50 acres, and at the moment we have 5 acres in cultivation, and ultimately we'll have about 25 acres in cultivation, half of that in perennials, fruit trees, things like that, and the other half in annuals. We are certified organic and certified biodynamic growers. The biodynamic part is, philosophically, it's really kind of the underpinning of what we try to do. It doesn't bring us a lot in the marketplace because I think there are relatively few people who are aware of biodynamics. It's very popular in California and somewhat popular in the Northeast, very popular in Europe as well. But we moved here from California, so we knew a fair amount about it. And as I say, there aren't many people who know about it, but we felt it was really important to be certified and to go through that whole process. The organic certification is obviously critical, and we believe in that as well. But in terms of how we manage the farm on a day-to-day basis, it's a biodynamic farm. In the Triangle area, there's a core of people who are familiar with biodynamics, largely because it's an offshoot of a school of thought that was founded by a guy named Rudolf Steiner and the whole anthroposophical movement. So there's a Triangle Anthroposophical Society, and at farmers markets and sort of everywhere we go, when we have people out to the farm, I talk a lot about biodynamics, and there's a lot of interest in it. So I think we'd really like to think that one of the things we are doing is trying to educate people on that kind of farming and the benefits of that kind of farming. I mean, a lot of people have a vague familiarity with it, and so they'll say, don't you all pay attention to the planets a lot, and how could that really have an influence? And I tell them that the biodynamic farming really takes place on kind of two axes. One is a sort of earthly axis, which where we pay a lot of attention to just the integrity of the soil and treating the soil as a living organism and just trying to make it more vital and it's stronger, essentially. And we do that in very specific ways with the biodynamic preps, both for the soil and for our crops. The other axis is in the sort of cosmic realm, where we pay very, very close attention to what's happening with the planets, particularly the close planets and the moon, before we do virtually anything on the farm, from planting to tilling to making compost to working with the bees. And the basic notion is that there are beneficial times that those things in the universe have an influence on the earth, and influences that have been studied and documented over time, and that there are better or worse times to do things. And so I guess the basic question I've gotten from folks is, how could what's going on with the moon and Jupiter have anything to do with when you should pick your grapes or not? And I try to tell them it's not a stretch for us to think that the moon might have a big influence on what happens on the planet, given that it pulls over 50 feet of water twice a day in some parts of the world.